Johnson found himself in the king's private chambers by pure accident. The royal concubines gasped in surprise when they saw the handsome stranger enter, their eyes immediately filled with curiosity and desire. Johnson stood frozen, completely captivated by their beauty, while he remained spellbound by their charm. The clever women swiftly removed all his weapons. One of them struck the bronze gong to sound the alarm. Within moments, armed guards came, bursting through the doors. Johnson instinctively reached for weapons that were no longer there. Left with no choice, he prepared to fight. With his bare hands, he managed to overpower two heavily armored soldiers, but then the archers arrived and took their positions. Thinking quickly, Johnson grabbed the gong itself, using the large metal disc as an improvised shield. He rolled desperately toward what he thought was an exit, only to crash through a section of weak wall. Falling through open air, he landed with a splash right in the middle of the wizard's private bath. There floated the alluring seer in the steamy waters, her beauty stirring dangerous desires within him. With guards closing in from all sides, Johnson pulled her underwater to hide. They slipped through ancient drainage pipes, emerging in an outer courtyard of the palace. Remembering her vulnerable state of undress, the seer immediately reached for nearby cloths, but Johnson swept her up before she could cover herself, carrying her off into the crowded city streets. Disguising themselves as simple villagers, the two disappeared into the bustling marketplace. Back at the palace, the king flew into a terrible rage. He immediately dispatched his most skilled trackers. Without the seer's prophetic visions to guide him, his military campaigns would surely fail. The seer attempted to escape from Johnson, but he had cleverly tied a rope around her ankle. As he restrained her, she finally revealed the truth about her tragic life of imprisonment. The king had kept her locked away since childhood, all because of her rare prophetic abilities. Only through clever deception about her purity had she managed to preserve her powers. She confessed she had foreseen Johnson's role as her one chance at true freedom. Deeply moved by her heartbreaking story, Johnson immediately untied the ropes. After a night of intense contemplation, she made the decision to stay with him, but their peace was short-lived. As royal hunters closed in on their location, Johnson went out alone to confront them. Blindfolded yet seeing more clearly than ever, he had anticipated the coming sandstorm. Just as the two forces clashed violently, the unprepared royal soldiers stood no chance, as Johnson moved with deadly precision. Just when victory seemed certain, a poisoned arrow struck his leg. The seer arrived to find Johnson collapsing from the deadly venom. Risking her own life force, she used her magic to heal him. Profoundly touched by her sacrifice, Johnson silently vowed to protect her always. When they finally reached the tribal lands, they worked to unite the people against the king. That night, the seer had another vision, showing their certain destruction. The king's forces would slaughter everyone, with Johnson dying by multiple arrows. But Johnson refused to accept this fate, declaring, "I control my own destiny." Their love blossomed that evening. But come morning, Johnson awoke alone. The seer had disappeared without a trace, leaving Johnson with a broken heart.